News from the federal courthouse today. A federal judge sentencing a man who was part of a major synthetic marijuana operation here in the Coastal Bend. Mariah Gallegos spoke with officials today to learn more.
In 2018, officials began their investigation in what they consider one of the largest homegrown cases of synthetic marijuana.
So the guys who were manufacturing and distributing this synthetic marijuana throughout the Corpus Christi area, their operation's done.
Illegal chemicals were being ordered from overseas and then made into the synthetic marijuana. Right behind me is where Done Right AC once existed. Officials say in one of these rooms is where the synthetic marijuana was actually being made, right here in Corpus Christi. The man sentenced today, Charles Callis, owned Done Right AC and received a nearly 19-year sentence for his involvement in the case.
This type of criminal activity in this toxic poison will not be tolerated in our communities.
Officials say getting these people off of the streets also means helping the local community and the health issues that were related to the drug.
The local health impact with the numbers we saw of the calls for service for clearly intoxicated or just people in distress, and it turns out they were using this stuff. And we saw the numbers drop in half once we started executing search warrants and taking these guys off the street.
Mariah Gallegos, 3 News.